Now we will discuss the managing working capital for a business. So what is working capital? Working capital refers to firm's investments in short-term assets, example cash, marketable securities, accounts receivable and inventories, etc. Gross working capital is the total amount invested by the company in all its current assets. That means current assets means assets which can be convertible into cash or cash equivalent within a short span of time. Maximum time allowed is maximum time possible is 1 year, but these all short-term working capital, short-term assets normally helps the organization for the smooth flow of day-to-day activities. Then gross working capital is total capital invested in working capital, what we call current assets. And net working capital means current assets, investment in current assets in excess of liabilities. So total current assets minus current liabilities will give you net working capital. So this is a picture normally used, a graphical presentation. So organizations will have fixed assets. They may be in the long term, fixed assets will be growing, and current assets are these permanent current assets. Certain current assets are permanent, and certain current assets are fluctuating, like this maroon color, right? Pink color line curve, where fixed assets are fixed. That means land, buildings, etc. long term assets. Permanent current assets are those assets which can be constantly maintained forever till the company closed. Like for example, minimum stock requirement, purchasing and maintaining minimum stock every any point of time throughout the year. That is permanent current assets. In fluctuating current assets, the current assets which will be fluctuating based on your speed of operations. Working capital management involves two key issues, right? That is these two key issues are these two, right? These two key issues, where amount, how much you want based on the operations and operating cycle, right? Then mix. When you speak about mix, again, how much permanent and how much fluctuating or temporary ones. How should these current assets be financed? Once you decide, I need 1 million worth of current assets, how to procure this 1 million to make the business without getting any problems? So normally bank loans, creditors, that means taking credit from the suppliers, and various other sources, temporary or short-term sources available across the globe. Then current assets are cash and other assets that the firm expects to convert into cash in a year or less. Then current liabilities are the liabilities which are owed to be paid by the company in less than 1 year time. Then working capital is total assets, right? Total assets investment in the current assets, right? Net working capital is the total current assets minus total current liabilities. When you speak about management, again application of management principles in working capital, that is working capital management, involves making decisions regarding the use and source of current assets. And when you speak about a company, how effectively they are using, how efficiently they are using, or working capital efficiency refers to the length of time between when a working capital asset is acquired and when it is converted into cash. So how much time you are taking between these two, right? Acquiring a current asset, getting cash back, right? So this duration is normally called, what we can say, efficiency. If it is shorter, very shorter, then you are effective. And some companies, you can see, surprisingly, they will have negative time. That means they get the money first, then they use that money and make the things. Especially certain contract producers, they take the money first and they will deliver the product later on. Or some companies are there, reputable companies, they never allow any credit sales to any customer, and they will collect the money first and they deliver the goods later. The operating and cash conversion cycles. These two important concepts we need to understand, and which makes sense of assessing the efficiency of the organization in using working capital or working capital management efficiency. Cash conversion cycle begins when the firm invests cash to purchase the raw material. So, suppose today they bought a raw material by paying cash. This is the starting of your investment. That would be used to produce the goods that the firm manufactures and ends with the finished goods begin being sold to customers and the cash collection. So the what time between your investment here on the material, undertaking process of conversion, then selling, then receiving cash from the customer. This duration normally taken as a cash conversion cycle. So cash is flowing out from your hands and it is becoming as a material, and again you are applying some process and you are converting them into finished product, then you are selling it to the customer and you are collecting money from the customer. So all the time taken for this entire process is called cash conversion cycle. So you can see the example here, the pictorial presentation here. So it starts here, right? Number 1, right? What is happening? This is the cash available after collecting the money. That is, we come to that point later on. Cash outflow. How it is going out? It will be paid to the suppliers of raw material. Raw material purchased. After some time, we have to make payment here. Once you make payment to the raw materials, right? At the same time, this raw material, you must convert them into a finished product. For conversion, you must use some labor and equipment. The cost of these two included. So for these two also you have to pay wages for labor and rent for equipment. Once these two are flowing out, you will get the finished goods. Then you can make the sale. Mostly this you can presume as credit sale. Then after selling the goods, you are collecting accounts receivable generated. Then accounts receivable, that means accounts receivable means our customers purchased on credit. Then after collecting, this will be coming back. This is a process, this is a cycle. Normally this is a cash conversion cycle. Measures taken by managers for effective use of working capital. What a manager normally does. When managing working capital accounts, financial managers want to do the following normally to improve the efficiency of the working capital management of that particular company. Normally, first thing is when they buy the goods or material on credit, delay paying accounts payable as long as possible without suffering any penalties. Here, this is very important. You have to delay until up to the point where you are not getting any penalties by the supplier. Maintain minimal raw material inventories. So always don't buy bulk and just keep in the godown or keep in the warehouse. You buy the minimum level of raw material to invest less amount. At the same time, you have to buy the raw material which is sufficient enough for operations where your operations are not disturbed. Use a little labor as possible to manufacture the product. So that is the reason why automation is gaining momentum. Because for a machine, once you buy the machine, it may be working for 10 or 20 years. There is no need of paying rent or anything for that. You can just maintain that machine. But if you have the labor, every fortnight you have to pay the fee, but the salary. That is the reason. Minimize the labor so that capital investment will be, one-time investment will be okay. And at the same time, efficiency will be improving because a machine you can put for working 24 hours a day. But if you want to run your factory for 24 hours, you must have 3 workers doing the same work in 3 shifts. Maintain minimal finished goods. Don't store the goods. That is the reason why the Dell computers, they started just in time material management. They buy the material today morning and they convert them into finished product and they will sell the finished product tomorrow. Then tomorrow evening, the warehouse will look empty because they don't store anything. Offer customers the most attractive credit terms possible on trade credits. so that you can collect the money back. Maximize the sales, at the same time you can look at risk of non-payment should be avoided. Collect cash payments on accounts receivable as fast as possible. This is a very important point in the efficiency of working capital management. Then operating cycle. The cash conversion cycle is one speaking about time taken between cash investment by the company and cash receiving by operations from the customers. The operating cycle, this is only speaking about inventory related, begins when the firm receives the raw material it purchased and ends when the firm collects cash payments on its credit sales. Right? Two measures, days sales outstanding, DSO, normally it is called DSO. Days sales outstanding and days sales in inventory helps determine the operating cycle. What is the length of operating cycle? We can measure by calculating these two, DSO and DSI. What is days sales in inventory? It shows how long the firm keeps its inventory before selling it. So they bought here, right? They sold here. How long it is taken? If shorter, the better. If it is longer, worse. Right? The time taken between receiving the inventory and selling them. So if your material is with you for a long time, it is a sunk cost for you. It will be eating away your money and maintenance cost. All the things will be there. Even sometimes material will become deteriorate and expire, and you may have to throw the material in the dustbin. It is the ratio of the inventory balance to the daily cost of goods sold. And the quicker a firm can move out its raw materials as finished goods, the shorter the duration when the firm holds its inventory, and the more efficient it is in managing its inventory. So here, how to calculate the DSI, days sales in inventory? You can calculate either this or this. You can use any one of these. 365 days over inventory turnover ratio, or 365 days over cost of goods sold by inventory. That means inventory turnover ratio equal to cost of goods sold by inventory. Then DSO, days sales outstanding. It estimates how long it takes on average for the firm to collect its outstanding accounts receivable balance. This ratio is also called the average collection period. An efficient firm with good working capital management should have a low average collection period compared to its industry. This means when you sell the goods on credit to any credit customer, how many days on average you are taking to collect them back. That means if you are taking just 5 days, then you are more efficient. If it is taking 100 days, you are less efficient or even not at all efficient as per the today's conditions. So DSO, days sales outstanding, will be calculated with this 365 days over accounts receivable turnover, or 365 days over net credit sales by, again this is a fraction, here this is a fraction, accounts receivable. The operating cycle is calculated by summing up this DSO and DSI, right? This is important, DSO and DSI. Then cash conversion cycle. The cash conversion cycle is related to the operating cycle, but it does not start until the firm actually pays for the inventory. If suppose the company is not getting any supplies, any raw material on credit, if it is just buying on cash, then the day when they purchase it will be starting. But most of the times businesses will buy the goods on credit. So when it is actually paying to the creditor, right, that makes a sense of the cash conversion cycle. The cash conversion cycle is the length of time between the cash outflow for materials and the cash outflow from sales. Cash inflow from the sales, sorry. To measure the cash conversion cycle, we need another measure called days payable outstanding. So how many days you are making your supplier wait for receiving money from you. So here days payable outstanding, DPO, shows how long a firm takes to pay off its suppliers for the cost of inventory. So days payable outstanding, DPO, is this formula. And the cash conversion cycle is then This is the formula. DSO plus DSI minus DPO will get you cash conversion cycle. Accounts receivable. When you speak about accounts receivable, that is credit customers and buying the goods on credit from you, there will be some agreement between the supplier, our trader, and the customer, in which terms of sale will be there, where whenever a firm sells a product, the seller spells out the terms and conditions of sale in a document called the terms of sale. Even you can see when you are installing an app on your mobile, you will get you have to say yes to the terms and condition. So likewise, terms and conditions, especially credit terms, will be taken. The agreement specific when the cash payment is due and amount of any discount if early payment is made. Normally, if they suppose a company offering 30 days credit, for example, right? A company is offering 30 days credit, but they have a condition. If paid less than 10 days, the customer will get 2% discount, for example. These kind of terms will be mentioned in the agreement. Trade credit, which is short-term financing, is typically made with a discount for early payment rather than explicit interest charges. To calculate the cost, we need to determine the interest rate the buyer is paying and convert it to an equivalent annual rate. That will be possible with the formula, this particular formula. Right? If suppose a company is giving, like same case here, 30%, 30 days credit. If they pay, if the customer pay within less than 10 days, right, 2% discount is given to the customer by the company. But what is the 2% discount given to the customer will be equivalent to effective annual rate to the trader. This can be calculated with the formula. So if he is giving 2% interest, 2% discount annually, because he is paying, he is supposed to pay, the customer is supposed to pay after 30 days, but he is paying within 10 days by getting lured for this 2%. But how much benefit this customer, this supplier or the trader will be getting, that can be calculated with this formula. One example we take operating cycle and cash conversion cycle. So here things are given: inventory, accounts receivable, accounts payable, beginning value, ending values, and average also given here. Net sales, all credit sales. When you speak about credit collection period or etc., the credit sales are very important to be known. And cost of goods sold, right? The worth of goods sold by the company, 820,000. Then net sales, credit sales is 1.15 million. So here calculations are made. Inventory turnover ratio. Inventory turnover ratio equal to cost of goods sold by average inventory. Average inventory in the sense inventory average. This amount to be taken. This will be possible with add these two, right, and divide with 2. This will be giving you this value. The same for averaging anything, add these two, right? This will be average. Here also the same, add. So these are the averages. When average inventory is asked, you have to take average of beginning value and ending value. Average accounts receivable means again average for accounts receivable opening or beginning or ending values, beginning plus ending values, right? So inventory turnover ratio turned to be 820,000 cost of goods sold over average inventory 250,000. This is 3.28 times. That means for every $1 of inventory held on an average, the company could make cost of goods sold 3.28 times. And then days sales in inventory. That means how much material, how much finished goods, how much value of finished goods you are keeping in your business that comes with day sales in inventory 365 over the inventory turnover ratio. This 111.28 days it is taking day sales in inventory. That means the company is holding 111 days equivalent sales amount is kept in the godown always. That means they are storing 100 days worth of sales amount, what material. And day sales outstanding, accounts receivable turnover is equal to credit sales by average accounts receivable. Again you see credit sales is given here, credit sales 1.15 million, right, over average accounts receivable. So totally this is 6.389. This indicates day sales outstanding indicates the company is maintaining average sales of 6.38 times always what we call in the sales by on an average of this one. Day sales outstanding is again 365 over 6.389, 57 days. So day sales average outstanding in the sense 57 days worth of sales always outstanding to collect from the accounts receivable. Then operating cycle DSO plus DSI, this is 168 days. That means conversion of raw material from the receiving till finishing and sales and like that. Then days payable outstanding DPO, accounts payable turnover equal to COGS over COGS cost of goods sold, average accounts payable. This will give you accounts payable turnover. Days payable outstanding is the same. So 38 days, 39 days worth of sales, raw material always you are outstanding to make payment. That means your business is okay. But when you speak about accounts receivable turnover 6.8 the days of sales outstanding, this 57 days you are giving credit to your customers, 38 days you are getting credit, so you are not so efficient in managing the working capital. Then cash conversion cycle, this is the formula, right? Cash conversion cycle 129 days, 130 days almost it is taking to convert your cash investment to again sales and return from the customers. So you are taking very long time to convert your cash invested on the material till returning the cash from the customers. So this is aging accounts receivable. Aging in the sense this is simply age of the accounts receivable. 10 days age means 10 days due for last 10 days this amount. The dues from 11 to 30 days this one. They prepare this schedule to understand how much we are outstanding beyond certain periods. For example, you see 44% of amount outstanding just 0 to 10 days. That means company is doing good, right? Here we can find some illustrations or some examples. These three examples I solved, right? You take the remaining examples for the calculation. So operating cycle, Trend Foods distributes its products to more than 100 countries, 100 restaurants. The company collection period, this is accounts average accounts receivable period, cash conversion, what we call accounts receivable period, and it keeps its inventory 10 days. That is what DSO, day sales in inventory, DSI. What is the operating cycle? You can see here. These are the formulae I have taken here. The first question, collection period is 30 days, average collection period. DSO is 365 days over average collection period, 11.41 days. Days of stock in inventory, right? 10 days already given in the question. Operating cycle is DSO plus DSI. So 11.41, right? This one plus this one together, right? 21.41 days is the what we call operating cycle of the company. That means conversion, receiving and conversion and making sales and getting collection. This is taking 21 days. So it can be taken good or efficient one. Then next question. This is operating cycle. This is cash conversion cycle. In the cash conversion cycle, sorry, all right. DSO is given 34 days, DSI is 54 days, DPO is given, the DPO is not given, accounts payable turnover is given to us 31 days. So accounts payable turnover is given 31 days, then DPO equal to 365 by accounts payable turnover 11.8 days. When you speak about cash conversion cycle, DSO plus DSI minus DPO will give you these values put together when you measure 76 days. That means days sales outstanding is 76.2 days. That is cash conversion cycle is 76 days. That means the time taken between your investment of your cash on material and converting that into sales and getting money back from the customer is taking 76 days. Sorry. The third one is not solved. Just follow the formula. But here in this case, this is credit, cost of trade credit. Terms 2 by 10 EOM net 30 means 2 by 10 means net means this is the 30 days credit allowed by the supplier, right, company, where if the customer returns the money in 10 days, the 2% discount will be paid. That is a 2 by 10 EOM means end of month, net 30, right? So out of 30 days credit given by the company, if customer pay the dues before 10 days, 2% discount will be there. This is what the terms of what we call terms of trade credit. So when you speak about effective annual rate can be calculated by using this formula. This formula, effective annual rate can be calculated. So these two examples we work out. Then coming to working capital management, how much inventory we need to maintain and how much quantity we have to place order. That issue is also very important, and various influences will be there on the performance of the working capital management of the company. Inventory management is largely a function of operations management, not financial management. So operations related. Manufacturing companies generally carry three types of inventory, that is raw material, work in progress, that means material under the process in the organization, and finished goods for sale, already available for sale. Then one important aspect, economic order quantity, that means for every order to replace or to purchase the material, how much quantity we have to place order, by which our material management will be economical. That means it is not going beyond the limit of expenses or cost. This equation is used to calculate economic order quantity. EOQ, economic order quantity means EOQ equal to 2 times reorder cost. That means what is the cost you are incurring, cost per order. Whenever you are placing an order, you may require some stationery, you may require some kind of communication, telephone or process, whatever it is. So while you are placing order, for every order how much cost, reorder cost, times sales per period, annual sales, normally annual sales, annual sales, how much you are making the sales. Then carrying cost. Carrying cost is the cost of maintaining the material. Suppose you bought 100 units, suppose 10,000 units, which is sufficient for 1 year, for example. Then to keep this 1000 units on day 1, and slowly you are taking some items from this and you are selling, but remaining items, how much cost you are incurring per unit to maintain them in the warehouse, because when you are keeping some material in the raw material or finished goods or trading accounts or trading items or whatever it is in the storeroom, there may be a question of certain materials need air conditioning, certain materials require airtight containers to be kept in, and some materials may be attracting rats and other insects, and some materials may be losing its originality if you keep it in a godown without certain temperature controls. So these all we need cost of carrying each unit, so that will be taken here. So under square root, right, under square root 2 times reorder cost times sales per period over carrying cost. So this is a economic order quantity. Then reorder point. Suppose reorder point, you take simple example. When you are using a car, when you will be refueling the car, normally we can see on a fuel meter, we can see yellow color, right? Some yellow color, yes or no? You can find some yellow symbol, right? Some fuel and whatever it is, some battery cell like. So when you see this yellow color means your fuel gone down. So then you go to the fuel station and you will refilling that. So when, even if it becomes yellow, will you drive the vehicle till it become red and your car stops itself? No, normally no. So this is an indication that once it becomes, color turns into yellow, it is an indication to you that reorder or refuel your car. Understand? Refueling. That point is called reorder point. So if you take different materials in a company, when you need to place an order, that depends on the level of material you are putting as reorder quantity or reorder point. Suppose a company may be using selling 1 million units every year, right? Every month, for example. But they wanted to place order once the stock in the godown comes to, right, 50,000. That means once the stock falls below 50,000 or up to 50,000, automatically company places an order, so that by the time the material they receive, this 50,000 will be helpful for them to make the sales without disturbing your operations. And here this another one is just in time inventory management. That means you wanted to deliver the goods on 5th September, right? You require 2 days for processing, so you place order for material on 2nd of September, and you ask that fellow to supply the material on 3rd September morning. Then 3rd, 4th you can process it. 3rd and 4th you can process the material. On 5th you can sell the goods. So you, after 5th, once you deliver the goods to the customer, your showroom or your warehouse will be 0. Then you will be, so always you can maintain a very small warehouse. You need not worry about maintenance cost and all. So here one example is given. Sony Electronics is purchasing color TVs from its vendors and annually sells about 6,000. So annually they sells 6,000 units, right? So they sell about 6,000 units of them a year. Yearly annual sales is 6,000 units. The cost of placing an order, that is reorder per order with the supplier, is 350 kina. And the inventory carrying cost are 70 kina for each color TV. That means 70 kina they need to spend for each unit to be preserving in a proper way. They like to maintain safety stock of 150 at all times. That means 150 units is the reorder point. This is not necessary for us to calculate anything now, but this annual sales, right? Then cost per unit of maintenance, then ordering cost. So then based on which you can measure the what we call so EOQ can be square root of 2 times reorder cost into sales per period over carrying cost. Reorder cost, sales per period, carrying cost. Now we can see here, right? EOQ is equal to, right? I'll try to write with the mouse, so don't worry. If it is not clear, you can refer the previous slide. So 2 times, right, reorder cost plus, sorry, times sales per year over the, what is that, carrying cost. Now we take the calculator here. We can take this. What is the first, this we have to take this first one, then next second one. So 2 times reorder cost, order cost 350 times sales 6000 units is equal to 4,200,000, right? So we can take here 4,200,000 over carrying cost. Carrying cost is 70 per unit. Carrying cost per unit we can take. Then square root, right? Then again we go to the calculator. 4,200,000 over 70, right? Then this will be 60,000, right? So 60,000, it will be under square root 60,000. Then what will be the EOQ, economic order quantity? Then you can see this value to be as a square root 60,000 square root. So 245 units. So economic order quantity is 245 units rounded. So this will be the economic order quantity. That means in every order they can make maximum of 245 TVs, so that their cost of operations, maintenance of the material will be lesser. And at the same time, how many orders to be placed every year? You can find, right, number of orders per year. Orders per year is equal to sales by EOQ. So sales by EOQ. So you can see here sales by EOQ 6,000 over 245. So on average, company requires, right, 25 orders, approximately rounded 25 orders. 25 orders per annum. This is the way to make, right, 25 orders per annum, so that the company will not get any problem of materials. At the same time, they need not worry about storing them and getting or incurring losses or expenses. Then next comes with the topic of cash management, cash management and budgeting. So how much cash to be held in a company? That is a very interesting point. How much money? Normally, holding money is not good, because there may be a chance of theft or burglaries or rascals or whatever the things can be there. And at the same time, when cash is available in the office, more and more cash available in the office, more and more people get attracted, and there may be a loss to the company. So that is the reason why you can hold sufficient or optimum level of cash, which makes at least few days, 3-4 days operating requirement. You can hold the cash, and remaining you can put it in the bank, so that you can maintain the safety for the cash held by the company. And cash collection, always collect the cash on time or optimally less time, so that you cannot get any hindrance of your smooth flow of business operations, right? So this is the lesson, my dear. Thank you very much. Go through this lesson before you what we call understand the by going through this lesson, you can understand the concept of working capital management. Okay, see you.